17 Success Secrets of Self-Made Millionaire by Earl Nightingale. Lesson 1. The Power of Your Mind's Garden. The most incredible discovery I've made in my decades of studying successful people is this. Your mind works exactly like a garden. Whatever seeds you plant within it will grow, without fail, into the circumstances of your life. This simple truth has transformed the lives of countless people who have applied it diligently. Think about a real garden for a moment. If you plant tomato seeds, you'll never harvest corn. If you plant nothing, weeds will grow automatically. Your mind operates by these same natural laws. Your thoughts are seeds that will inevitably bloom into the reality you experience day by day. When I first encountered this concept, I was astounded by its simplicity and power. I've watched people transform their financial situations completely by first transforming their thinking. The self-made millionaire understands that wealth begins as a thought pattern long before it materializes in a bank account. Your mental garden requires careful tending. Just as a gardener must pull weeds regularly, you must vigilantly remove negative, limiting thoughts that sprout in your consciousness. These thoughts might sound like, "I'll never have enough money," or "rich people are just lucky." These are the weeds that choke out possibility in your mental garden. What you focus on in life expands and grows stronger. This isn't mystical thinking, it's practical psychology. When you consistently focus on opportunities rather than problems, on abundance rather than scarcity, your mind automatically begins directing your actions toward those outcomes. The millionaire mindset begins with planting thoughts of prosperity, opportunity, and service to others. I've counseled thousands of people who wondered why success eluded them, only to discover they were planting failure in their mental gardens every single day. By changing nothing but their dominant thoughts, their external circumstances began to shift dramatically. Here's something practical you can do, starting today. Conduct a thought inventory. For the next 3 days, carry a small notebook and briefly note your dominant thoughts throughout the day. At the end of this period, review your notes and mark each thought that moves you toward success with a plus sign and each thought that holds you back with a minus sign. This simple exercise often creates a profound awakening. Many discover they've been habitually planting the wrong seeds without realizing it. Once you see this pattern clearly, you can begin the transformative work of replanting your mental garden. Remember, this principle works with mathematical certainty. If you consistently plant thoughts, capability, opportunity, and abundance, you will harvest circumstances that reflect those qualities. The self-made millionaire isn't born with special advantages. They simply understand and apply the power of their mind's garden more effectively than others. Your potential is unlimited, but it will only grow in the direction of your most dominant thoughts. Begin today to cultivate your mental garden with the same care a farmer tends his fields, and you'll be astonished at the harvest that awaits you in the seasons ahead. Lesson 2. The Millionaire Time Formula. Time, that mysterious treasure we all possess in equal measure each day. 24 golden hours, no more, no less. The wealthy and the poor, the successful and the struggling, all begin with this same inheritance when the sun rises. Yet, by sunset, what a vast difference in what has been accomplished. This is the great secret that separates self-made millionaires from the masses. How they invest these precious hours. I've studied the habits of successful people for decades, and I can tell you with absolute certainty that time management is the foundation upon which fortunes are built. The millionaire understands what many fail to grasp. That time cannot be saved or stored. It can only be spent or invested. And therein lies the critical distinction. The average person spends time on television, on idle conversation, on activities that produce no lasting value. The millionaire invests time in learning, in creating, in building systems that generate wealth while they sleep. This is not a minor difference. It is the very essence of financial independence. Consider this truth. Every single self-made millionaire I've ever encountered treats time as their most valuable asset. more precious than money, more valuable than connections. For while money can be replenished and relationships rebuilt, time, once gone, is lost forever. What would happen if you began treating each hour as worth $1,000? How would your decisions change? What activities would suddenly seem wasteful? The wealthy have internalized this perspective, understanding that some hours are worth far more than others. The millionaire focuses ruthlessly on high-value activities, those that move the needle toward their most important goals. They delegate or eliminate everything else. They understand that being busy is not the same as being productive. Activity without purpose is the drain through which potential fortunes disappear. Perhaps most importantly, self-made millionaires harness the magic of compound time. Just as money compounds when invested wisely, so too does the effect of time invested in developing skills, building businesses, and creating assets. 1 hour of focused learning today creates a foundation for faster growth tomorrow. Let me share a powerful practice that has transformed the lives of countless successful individuals. It's called the Hour of Power, the deliberate dedication of 1 uninterrupted hour each day to your most important goal or skill. This single hour, protected fiercely from all distractions, can produce more meaningful progress than 5 hours of scattered, interrupted effort. During this sacred time, turn off your phone, close your email, and focus with laser, like intensity. Whether you use this hour to develop a business plan, learn a valuable skill, or build important relationships, the consistency of this practice will compound dramatically over time. Remember this: we all face the same fundamental challenge. Life is not measured in years, but in moments. In the choices we make about how to invest the currency of our hours and minutes. The millionaire simply makes different choices, recognizing that time, properly invested, returns the greatest dividends of all. Lesson 3. Goals. Your map to millions. Have you ever wondered why some people accomplish so much while others drift aimlessly through life? I'll tell you the answer, and it might surprise you with its simplicity. The difference comes down to one thing: goals. Clear, written, specific goals that act as a compass for your journey to success. Consider this truth: a goal not written down is merely a wish. How many wishes have you made over the years that never materialized? The millionaires I've studied throughout my life understand that wishing produces nothing. They instead commit their desires to paper, transforming vague hopes into concrete targets. Your mind is an extraordinary instrument, designed to solve problems and achieve objectives, but it needs clear instructions. When you write down a specific goal with a deadline, you program your subconscious mind to begin working on it immediately. This creates a magnetic pull toward your objective, even while you sleep. I've interviewed hundreds of self-made millionaires, and not one achieved their wealth by accident. Each one could show me written goals from years past that precisely described what they later accomplished. They understood that specific goals with deadlines create powerful momentum that carries them forward even during difficult times. Let me share a story about a young woman named Sarah who attended one of my seminars. She had worked in sales for years with modest results. After learning about the power of written goals, she wrote down a specific target. I will earn $250,000 in commission this year by serving 50 new clients with extraordinary care. She included why this mattered: to fund her children's education and secure her family's future. Within 12 months, she had surpassed her goal, earning over $300,000. The clarity of her vision created focus that transformed her results. The wealthy elite understand something the average person doesn't. Vague goals produce vague results. Someday I'll be rich has no power, but I will create a $5 million net worth by my 45th birthday by building and selling a software company that helps small businesses manage inventory. Contains the specificity that fuels achievement. Your goals must excite you. They must be worthy of your precious life energy. When I ask audiences if they have written goals, typically only about 3% raise their hands. Is it any wonder that roughly the same percentage achieve financial independence? Tonight, I challenge you to complete the goal clarity sheet exercise. Take a blank page and write your top 3 goals with specific outcomes and deadlines. Most importantly, write down why each goal matters deeply to you. This emotional connection provides the fuel when obstacles appear. Remember, goals are not just targets to hit. They're the very map that guides you to the life you desire. Without them, you're like a ship without a rudder, at the mercy of whatever winds happen to blow. With clear, written goals, you take command of your journey and set course for the shores of success that await you. Lesson 4. The Compound Effect of Small Habits. Good day. I want to share with you one of the most powerful secrets of self-made millionaires, a secret so simple that most people overlook it entirely. The magnificent fortunes of this world are rarely built through dramatic, single actions. No, the path to wealth is paved with small, consistent habits performed day after day, just as surely as the Grand Canyon was formed, not by a single cataclysmic event, but by the persistent flow of water over millions of years. Your daily habits are the unseen architects of your financial future. The millionaire mind understands that what you do consistently, those small, seemingly insignificant actions, will compound over time into either magnificent success or disappointing mediocrity. There is no escaping this fundamental law of achievement. Consider this truth. If you save just $5 per day and invest it at a modest return, within 30 years you'll have accumulated over $150,000. Not from dramatic sacrifice, but from a simple daily habit. The same principle applies to every area of success. Reading just 10 pages of a good book each day means you'll consume over 3,600 pages, or about 12 books, in a year's time. That knowledge compounds in your mind, creating new connections and opportunities. The wealthy understand that excellence is not an act but a habit, as Aristotle wisely observed centuries ago. While others search for dramatic shortcuts to riches, millionaires quietly build their fortunes through disciplined daily actions. They know that consistency trumps intensity every time. The person who walks 1 mile every day will travel further than the enthusiast who runs 5 miles once a month. Your habits operate like the rudder of a great ship. Though small and often hidden beneath the surface, they determine the entire direction of your journey. A slight adjustment in your daily routine, rising 30 minutes earlier, making one additional business call, reading instead of watching television, can dramatically alter your destination. What separates millionaires from the masses is rarely natural talent or lucky breaks. It's their commitment to performing the critical tasks that others find boring, uncomfortable, or inconvenient. They embrace the mundane daily disciplines that eventually bloom into extraordinary outcomes. Begin today by identifying 3 small habits that directly support your largest goal. Perhaps it's making 1 new business connection daily, saving a specific amount before spending on luxuries, or dedicating 30 minutes to developing a valuable skill. Track these habits religiously using a simple calendar or journal. Mark each day you successfully perform your chosen habits and never allow yourself to miss twice in a row. Habits, once established, become effortless. The initial resistance you feel is temporary. After approximately 21 days of consistent practice, your new behaviors will become second nature, as automatic as brushing your teeth. The compound effect of small habits works silently but relentlessly, either for you or against you. Choose wisely which small actions you'll repeat daily, for in them lies the difference between a life of prosperity and one of perpetual struggle and one of perpetual struggle. Your habits are the causes, your circumstances merely the effects. Lesson 5. The Millionaire Mindset. Have you ever wondered what truly separates the wealthy from everyone else? I've spent decades studying success, and I can tell you with certainty that it isn't luck, connections, or even education. It's something far more powerful, yet available to every single one of us: mindset. The millionaire mindset is a distinct way of viewing the world. Where the average person sees obstacles, the millionaire sees opportunities waiting to be discovered. I remember speaking with a gentleman who made his fortune during an economic downturn. While others were lamenting market conditions, he told me, "Earl, when the tide goes out, that's when you can find the most valuable seashells." His fortune came from purchasing distressed properties that others were eager to unload. Wealthy people understand that money itself is not the goal. It's merely the scoreboard that shows how much value you've created for others. This perspective shift is transformative. Instead of chasing dollars, focus on solving problems. The larger the problem you solve and the more people you help, the greater your financial reward will be. Consider this truth. Millionaires don't work for money. They make their money work for them. While the average person trades time for dollars, the wealthy build systems that generate income whether they're working or not. They understand that true financial freedom comes not from a larger paycheck, but from developing income streams that flow without their direct daily effort. Another crucial aspect of the millionaire mindset is the ability to delay gratification. The wealthy understand that temporary sacrifice leads to long-term abundance. They're willing to live like others won't for a few years, so they can live like others can't for the rest of their lives. Perhaps, most importantly, millionaires maintain an unwavering belief in their ability to succeed despite setbacks. They see problems as temporary and solvable. This optimistic resilience allows them to bounce back from failures that would cause others to quit entirely. To develop this powerful mindset yourself, try the Mindset Flip exercise. Identify 3 problems you're currently facing and deliberately reframe each one as an opportunity. For example, if you've lost a job, the opportunity might be to start the business you've been dreaming about. If a product isn't selling, the opportunity is to improve it, based on market feedback. Remember, your mind works like a magnifying glass. Whatever you focus on expands. When you train yourself to see opportunities everywhere, suddenly they appear in abundance. This isn't mystical thinking. It's simply your reticular activating system highlighting what you've programmed it to notice. The millionaire mindset isn't something people are born with. It's cultivated through conscious effort, surrounding yourself with positive influences and consistently challenging limiting beliefs. The wonderful truth is that this mindset is available to anyone willing to develop it. Your wealth will seldom exceed your personal development. By adopting the thought patterns of millionaires, you take the first and most crucial step toward joining their ranks. After all, you become what you think about most of the time. Lesson 6. The Service Secret to Wealth. My friends, the greatest secret to achieving lasting wealth is one that most people overlook entirely. While the masses chase money directly, the truly successful understand that fortune flows not to those who pursue it, but to those who provide exceptional service to others. This fundamental truth has stood the test of time across every generation and economic system. Consider this carefully. Money is simply a symbol that represents value. When you provide tremendous value to others, the universe responds in kind by returning value to you. This is not mystical thinking. It's practical economics dressed in its simplest form. The size of your financial rewards will always be in direct proportion to the size of the service you render. Small service you render, small service yields small rewards. Exceptional service creates exceptional wealth. It's as certain as the changing of the seasons. Look at any self-made millionaire, and you'll find someone who has figured out how to solve problems for others on a significant scale. The greater the problem solved, the greater the reward. Henry Ford didn't become wealthy by wanting money. He became wealthy by figuring out how to bring affordable transportation to millions. The same principle applies whether you're building an empire or starting a small business. Your primary question should never be, how can I make more money? Instead, ask yourself, how can I serve more people more effectively? When you shift your focus from getting to giving, you activate a principle that has created more wealth than any other, the law of service. This mindset shift changes everything. It transforms your work from a burden into a mission. It eliminates the desperate energy that repels success and replaces it with the magnetic force of genuine value creation. People can sense when you're truly there to serve them, rather than simply extract money from them. The wonderful truth is that there's no limit to how much value you can provide. While your time may be finite, your impact is not. Through systems, teams, products, or ideas, you can serve thousands or even millions of people simultaneously. Begin today by examining your current work. Are you focused primarily on what you can get or what you can give? Or what you can give? Are you solving meaningful problems or merely trading time for money? The answers will reveal much about your wealth trajectory. Then consider how you might multiply your service. Could you help 10 times as many people? Could you solve their problems 10 times more effectively? These questions lead to the breakthroughs that create fortunes. Remember always that money is an effect, not a cause. The cause is exceptional service. Master this principle, apply it daily, and you'll find yourself on the surest path to wealth that has ever existed. Each day, identify 3 specific ways you can increase the value you provide to others. It might be improving your skills, expanding your reach, or enhancing the quality of your work. Whatever form it takes, this daily practice of value enhancement will compound into a fortune over time. The service secret to wealth awaits those wise enough to apply it. Lesson 7. Mastering the fear of failure. Fear of failure stands as the most formidable barrier between ordinary men and women and the extraordinary success they desire. Ladies and gentlemen, I've observed this truth repeatedly in my years of studying the self-made millionaire. Those who achieve great wealth aren't immune to failure. They simply respond to it differently than the masses. The first great secret about failure is that it isn't fatal, nor is it final. It's merely feedback. Consider Thomas Edison, who famously said of his numerous attempts to create the light bulb, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." This attitude represents the millionaire mindset perfectly. When most people encounter failure, they interpret it as a signal to stop. But the successful person sees failure as a necessary stepping stone on the path to achievement. Have you noticed how children learn to walk? They fall down dozens, perhaps hundreds of times. Yet they never conclude, "Walking isn't for me." They simply get up and try again, adjusting their approach until they succeed. Somewhere along life's journey, many of us lost this natural resilience. We must reclaim it if we wish to join the ranks of the financially independent. The second key to mastering failure is understanding that action in the face of fear is what separates achievers from dreamers. Fear never disappears entirely, even for millionaires. The difference is that successful people move forward despite their fears. They recognize that courage isn't the absence of fear, but action in its presence. I once asked a highly successful entrepreneur about his approach to risk and failure. He told me something profound. "I've trained myself to fear regret more than I fear failure." Think about that. The pain of looking back on a life of untaken chances became more unbearable to him than the temporary sting of failure. Every self-made millionaire has a story of failure behind their success. Many lost fortunes before building them. Others faced bankruptcy, rejection, or humiliation. What separates them is their refusal to let these experiences define them. Instead, they ask, "What can I learn from this?" They extract the lesson, adjust their approach, and continue forward. Here's a practical approach I recommend. When you face a setback, take out a sheet of paper and write down 3 things you learned from the experience. Then write down specifically how you'll apply these lessons in your next attempt. This simple failure reframe exercise transforms disappointment into valuable education. Remember, too, that failure often reveals your true path. Many successful ventures arose from the ashes of initial failures. The marketplace provides immediate feedback. If you're willing to listen, sometimes what appears as failure is merely life redirecting you toward your authentic calling. Friends, the road to financial independence isn't a straight line. It zigs and zags, sometimes doubling back before moving forward again. What matters isn't avoiding every pothole, but developing the resilience to keep driving toward your destination, regardless of road conditions. Master your fear of failure, and you've mastered one of the critical secrets of self-made millionaires. Lesson 8. The power of persistent action. Every great achievement in history has been the result of persistent action. As I look at the self-made millionaires I've studied over the decades, one quality stands out above all others. Persistence. They simply refused to quit. Consider this fact. Most people give up just before their breakthrough moment arrives. They plant the seeds of success but abandon the garden right before harvest time. The wealthy aren't necessarily smarter or more talented. They simply stay the course when others retreat. The average person tries something new with enthusiasm, faces inevitable obstacles, and then quietly surrenders their dreams. They tell themselves it wasn't meant to be, or I guess I'm not cut out for this. But the millionaire operates differently. When the self-made millionaire hits a wall, they ask, how can I climb over this, or go around it, or break through it? They see obstacles as temporary challenges rather than permanent roadblocks. I remember speaking with a gentleman who built a manufacturing empire from nothing. He told me he was rejected by 30, won banks before finding financing for his first factory. The 10 banks said yes. He smiled, and that made all the difference. Most people wouldn't have made it past rejection number 5 or 6. Persistence isn't just about blind stubbornness. It's about maintaining consistent action while remaining flexible in your approach. If something isn't working, the millionaire doesn't quit the goal. They change the method. They understand that failure is simply feedback telling them to adjust their strategy. The self-made wealthy also recognize that success rarely follows a straight line. Progress comes in spurts, plateaus, and sometimes even temporary setbacks. The amateur looks for overnight success, while the professional understands that wealth is built through thousands of daily actions compounded over time. Think of persistence like water flowing over rock. A single drop makes no impact, but continuous flow over time can carve the Grand Canyon. Your persistent actions, no matter how small, create unstoppable momentum when applied consistently. Here's a powerful exercise I call the 100 Days Challenge. Choose one important goal, related activity, and commit to doing it daily for 100 consecutive days, no matter what. This might be making sales calls, writing content, exercising, or studying your craft. The magic happens not just from the accumulated work, but from the mental strength you develop by keeping your word to yourself every single day. Many people struggle with persistence because they focus on motivation. But motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes like the weather. Successful people act despite not feeling motivated. They've developed the habit of taking action regardless of mood or circumstance. Remember this truth: the distance between dreams and achievement is measured by persistence. Whoever stays in the game the longest wins. When you face inevitable setbacks on your journey to wealth, remind yourself that persistence always defeats resistance. The temporary discomfort of persisting pales in comparison to the permanent pain of giving up on your dreams. Lesson 9. The courage to persist when others quit. Success is not a destination reached in a single bound, but rather a path walked with unwavering persistence. I've studied the habits of self-made millionaires for decades, and if there's one quality that separates those who achieve extraordinary wealth from those who merely dream of it, it's the courage to persist when others quit. Consider this profound truth. Most people give up just before their breakthrough moment. They plant the seeds of success, water them for a time, but abandon the garden right before harvest. The wealthy know something that others don't. Success is often waiting just beyond the point where most would surrender. I recall a conversation with a gentleman who built a fortune in manufacturing. He told me his competitors had the same opportunities, the same market conditions, and often more capital. What made the difference, Earl, he said, was that when the economy turned and orders dried up, they folded the tents while I kept knocking on doors. 6 months later, I had the market to myself. This persistence isn't mere stubbornness. It's intelligent perseverance, the kind that learns, adapts, and grows stronger with each obstacle. Think of it as water flowing downhill. The water doesn't stop when it meets a boulder. It simply finds another path. It continues its journey, inevitably reaching its destination. The millionaire mind understands that temporary defeat is not permanent failure. When Thomas Edison was asked about his thousands of unsuccessful attempts to create the electric light bulb, he famously replied that he hadn't failed. He had successfully found thousands of ways that wouldn't work. That's the persistence mindset in action. Your capacity to persist is directly connected to your clarity of purpose. When you know exactly why you're pursuing your goal, when that purpose burns within you, obstacles become merely stepping stones rather than stopping points. The millionaire doesn't just want success. They need it, with a hunger that transforms barriers into opportunities for growth. What separates those who persist from those who quit? It's not talent or luck, but rather a daily commitment to continue, despite evidence that might suggest surrender. It's working on your business when you're tired. It's making one more sales call after hearing no all day. It's revising your product after criticism. It's getting up at 5 a.m. to study when everyone else is sleeping. Every self-made millionaire has a story of when they could have quit, should have quit by conventional wisdom, but didn't. These moments define their success journey. They understand that persistence is not about doing the same thing repeatedly, expecting different results. True persistence means trying new approaches to the same goal, learning from each attempt, and moving forward with renewed insight. Remember this: the obstacle is the way. The very thing that blocks your path often contains the lesson you need to reach the next level. The wealthy see problems as opportunities for growth, not signals to retreat. They know that the persistence muscle grows stronger with each challenge overcome. Cultivate this millionaire trait by committing to one more attempt, one more day, one more strategy when everything in you wants to quit. This courage to persist will separate you from the crowd and place you firmly on the path to extraordinary success. Lesson 10. The Power of Daily Decisions. Each day of our lives is filled with countless decisions. From the moment we open our eyes in the morning until we close them at night, we make choices that determine our direction. And it is these daily decisions, these seemingly small choices, that ultimately shape our destiny and determine whether we join the ranks of the self-made millionaires or remain among those who merely dream of financial freedom. The wealthy understand a fundamental truth that escapes most people. Life doesn't just happen to us. We create it through our decisions. Every self-made millionaire I've studied over my decades of research has mastered the art of making quality decisions consistently. They recognize that wealth isn't built on a handful of monumental choices, but rather on thousands of small daily decisions that compound over time. Consider this. The decision to wake up just 1 hour earlier each day provides you with the equivalent of nearly 2 extra months of productive time each year. The decision to save just $10 daily amounts to over $3,600 annually. The decision to read just 10 pages of a growth-oriented book each day means you'll complete about 12 life-changing books per year. These simple decisions, made consistently, create extraordinary results. The quality of your life right now, your health, your relationships, your financial situation, is the direct result of the decisions you've been making up until this point. If you're not satisfied with where you stand, the wonderful news is that you can begin making different decisions today. Millionaires take full responsibility for their decisions. They don't blame circumstances, other people, or bad luck for their situations. They recognize that while we cannot control everything that happens to us, we always maintain control over how we respond. This perspective is immensely powerful because it puts you in the driver's seat of your life. Decision-making is a skill that improves with practice. Start by becoming more conscious of the choices you make throughout your day. Ask yourself, is this decision moving me toward financial success or away from it? When faced with important choices, successful people often use what I call the 5-year test. They ask, how will I feel about this decision 5 years from now? Indecision is actually a decision. It's a decision to remain exactly where you are. Many people fail financially not because they make poor decisions, but because they fail to make decisions at all. They allow life to happen to them rather than intentionally creating the life they desire. The habit of decisive action separates the successful from the unsuccessful. While others hesitate, procrastinate, and ruminate, the self-made millionaire evaluates the information available, makes a decision, and moves forward with confidence. They understand that perfect information is rarely available, and waiting for it often means missing opportunities. Today, I challenge you to take command of your decisions. Recognize their power to shape your destiny. Make them consciously, make them consciously, make them wisely, and make them promptly. For in the final analysis, your life will be defined not by what happened to you, but by the decisions you made along the way. This is the path to becoming a self-made millionaire, one decision at a time. Lesson 11. The value of persistence. The ancient Chinese have a saying that water, over time, can wear away the hardest stone, not through force, but through persistence, through the gentle, consistent action of drops falling in the same place, day after day, year after year, and in this simple truth lies one of the most powerful secrets of the self-made millionaire. Persistence is the iron quality that separates the achiever from the dreamer. When I study the lives of men and women who've achieved extraordinary financial success, I find this quality present without exception. They simply refuse to quit. Consider this. Most people abandon their goals at the first sign of resistance. They set out with enthusiasm, but when difficulties arise, as they always will, they retreat. The road becomes too hard, too long, or too uncertain. But the millionaire mind works differently. It expects resistance. It anticipates obstacles. And most importantly, it continues forward regardless. Thomas Edison failed more than 10,000 times before perfecting the electric light bulb. When asked about his failures, he famously replied, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." This is the perspective that builds fortunes. Your persistence must be intelligent. However, it doesn't mean blindly doing the same unsuccessful thing repeatedly. The millionaire's persistence involves learning, adjusting, and improving with each attempt. They persist in the goal while remaining flexible about the method. I've found that most people overestimate what they can accomplish in a year and vastly underestimate what they can achieve in 5 years of persistent effort. The millionaire understands this time dimension of success. They don't expect immediate results. They plant seeds today knowing the harvest may be years away, but they keep tending their garden nevertheless. Persistence is most critical precisely when you feel most like quitting. In nearly every success story, there comes what I call the midnight hour. That moment when all seems lost, when logic and friends and circumstances all suggest you should abandon your dream. This moment is the true test. Push through this darkness and you'll often find the dawn of your success just ahead. Persistence also means developing a healthy relationship with rejection. The average millionaire has been turned down, turned away, and told no far more times than the average person. The difference is they didn't allow these rejections to define them. They understood that each no simply moved them one step closer to the yes they needed. Many fortunes have been lost just a few feet from the finish line. Promising businesses abandoned, investments sold at a loss just before they turned profitable, goals surrendered moments before breakthrough. The tragedy isn't in trying and failing. It's in failing to persist long enough to succeed. Today, make a commitment to yourself. Whatever worthy goal you're pursuing, resolve that you will persist until you succeed. Expect obstacles. Welcome challenges. And know with certainty that persistent, determined effort in the direction of your clearly defined goals contains the power to overcome all obstacles and achieve any dream. Lesson 12. Developing an investor's mindset. The remarkable difference between those who build wealth and those who never seem to get ahead financially often comes down to one critical factor: their mindset toward money. The self-made millionaire doesn't view money the way the average person does. This fundamental difference in thinking creates dramatically different results over time. What is this investor's mindset? It's the understanding that money is a tool that can work for you, rather than something you simply work for. The wealthy have learned that they must put their money to work, producing more money rather than merely exchanging their time for it. Consider two people who each earn $50,000 annually. One spends everything they make on consumer goods, dining out, and other expenses that depreciate or vanish entirely. The other lives below their means and consistently invests a portion of their income. The first person ends each year exactly where they started, while the second person gradually builds wealth that begins working on their behalf. This is what I call the multiplication principle. The average person relies solely on addition, adding their paycheck to their bank account, then subtracting expenses until it's gone. The millionaire uses multiplication, taking portions of their income and placing it where it will multiply and grow over time. One of the most revealing habits of self-made millionaires is that they pay themselves first. Before they pay bills or make purchases, they set aside money for investments and growth. This simple practice separates those who build wealth from those who never seem to have enough. The investor's mindset also embraces delayed gratification. While others seek immediate satisfaction through spending, the wealthy understand that temporary sacrifices lead to greater long-term rewards. They're willing to drive a modest car today so they can own substantial assets tomorrow. Another crucial aspect of the investor mindset is continual financial education. The wealthy stay informed about investment vehicles, tax strategies, and economic trends. They read books, listen to experts, and often seek mentors who have already achieved what they're working toward. They recognize that financial ignorance is expensive, while financial knowledge compounds like interest. Self-made millionaires also understand the importance of diversification. They don't put all their eggs in one basket, but spread their investments across different asset classes to reduce risk while maximizing potential returns. They create multiple streams of income that continue flowing, whether they're working or not. The investor mindset treats major purchases differently, too. While most people ask, "Can I afford the monthly payment?" the wealth-minded ask, "Is this purchase an asset or a liability? Will it appreciate or depreciate? Does it generate income or consume it?" To develop this millionaire mindset yourself, begin thinking of money as potential energy. Every dollar is a seed that can grow if planted properly. Start small if necessary, but start. Educate yourself about basic investment principles. Find successful investors to learn from, whether through books, courses, or personal relationships. Developing an investor's mindset isn't about getting rich quick. It's about making consistent, intelligent decisions about money over time. The wealth that results comes not from luck or special connections, but from applying sound principles with patience and discipline. This approach to money is available to anyone willing to think differently about their financial future. Lesson 13. The Decisive Power of Action. The world stands aside for the person who knows where they're going. Throughout my years of studying the habits and patterns of self-made millionaires, one truth remains constant. They are people of decisive action. While others wait, contemplate, and hesitate, successful people move forward with purpose. Action is the bridge between your dreams and reality. No amount of knowledge, planning, or intention can replace the simple act of taking that first step. I've often observed that the difference between the person earning $25,000 a year and the person earning $250,000 isn't necessarily intelligence or opportunity. It's their willingness to act decisively when opportunity presents itself. Consider this. Every self-made millionaire I've studied has developed the habit of making decisions quickly and changing them slowly, if at all. They understand that imperfect action beats perfect inaction every time. While the average person is still weighing options, successful people have already begun gathering feedback from their actions, adjusting their approach, and moving closer to their goals. The most dangerous phrase in the English language is, "I'll do it tomorrow." Procrastination is truly the thief of time and the assassin of opportunity. When you postpone action, you're essentially telling the universe you're not ready for success. Tomorrow never arrives for those waiting for perfect conditions. What separates the achievers from the dreamers is this. Achievers act despite their fears. They understand that courage isn't the absence of fear, but rather taking action despite it. Every millionaire has faced moments of doubt, uncertainty, and fear. The difference is they pushed through those emotions and took action anyway. Think of action as compound interest for your success. Small, consistent actions may not seem significant in the moment, but over time they accumulate into extraordinary results. Just as a small financial investment grows exponentially over decades, your daily actions toward your goals multiply in their impact. Motion creates emotion. The very act of taking steps toward your goal generates positive feelings and motivation that further propel you forward. This is why successful people rarely suffer from the paralysis of analysis. They understand that momentum comes from movement, not contemplation.
If you find yourself stuck, remember this powerful truth. Clarity comes from engagement, not thought. You don't need to see the entire staircase to take the first step. Start with what you know, and the next steps will reveal themselves as you progress.
Your actions tell the world what you truly believe, not your words, not your intentions, but your actions. When you consistently take decisive steps toward your goals, you're making a powerful statement about your commitment to success.
Today, identify the single most important action you could take to move closer to your financial goals. Then, before the sun sets, take that action, regardless of how small it might seem. For in the world of achievement, the doers inherit the rewards that the hesitant can only dream about. Your moment of action is always now. Lesson 14. The power of deliberate action. The world responds to action. That's a fundamental truth that every self-made millionaire has discovered on their journey to success. Let me share something profound with you. While others are contemplating, planning, and waiting for the perfect moment, the successful individual is already in motion, already creating results. Action is the bridge between your dreams and reality. It's the vehicle that transports your goals from the realm of imagination into the physical world. Without action, even the most brilliant ideas remain nothing more than pleasant thoughts. With action, even ordinary ideas can transform into extraordinary achievements. Here's what separates the wealthy from those who merely wish for wealth. Millionaires develop the habit of taking immediate action on their goals. When they identify an opportunity, they move toward it with purpose and determination. They understand that momentum is a powerful force. Once you're in motion, staying in motion becomes easier. Consider this truth. We often overestimate what we can accomplish in a day, but dramatically underestimate what we can achieve in a year of consistent action. Small steps, taken daily, create tremendous results over time. This is the principle of compounded action, and it works just as reliably as compound interest in your financial investments. The quality of your action matters tremendously. Thoughtful, deliberate action aimed at specific outcomes will always outperform frantic busyness. Many people stay busy without being productive. They confuse motion with progress. True productivity comes from actions aligned with your highest goals and values. Fear often disguises itself as procrastination. We tell ourselves we need more information, more planning, more preparation before we can begin. This is rarely true. Most of what we need to learn comes through the process of doing, not before we start. The millionaire mindset embraces ready, fire, aim rather than waiting for perfect alignment before taking the first step. Decisiveness is the twin companion of action. Make decisions promptly and adjust your course as you gain new information. The paralysis of analysis keeps many people stuck while opportunities pass them by. Remember, a good decision today is better than a perfect decision tomorrow. Every successful person I've studied shares this common trait. They accept full responsibility for taking action on their goals. They don't wait for permission, perfect conditions, or someone else to lead the way. They understand that their success is ultimately their responsibility alone. When you consistently take action toward your goals, you develop a reputation as someone who gets things done. This reputation attracts opportunities, resources, and relationships that further accelerate your success. People want to work with, invest in, and support people with a track record of turning ideas into results. Begin today. Identify the most important action that would move you toward your primary goal, and do it immediately. Don't wait for inspiration. Action often creates inspiration, not the other way around. As you develop this habit of immediate action, you'll find yourself naturally gravitating toward the company of other action. takers, those who are building their success one deliberate action at a time. Lesson 15. Transforming adversity into advantage.
The true measure of your character, and ultimately your success, is determined not by what happens to you, but by how you respond to what happens. Every self-made millionaire has faced significant obstacles on their journey to financial independence. What separates them from those who remain in mediocrity is their ability to transform adversity into advantage.
When you encounter a difficult situation, you stand at an important crossroads. You can choose the path most people take, complaining, blaming, and seeking sympathy. Or you can choose the millionaire's path, asking yourself, what's good about this situation? What can I learn from this? How can I turn this obstacle into an opportunity? Consider the remarkable story of John Paul DeJoria, co-founder of Paul Mitchell Hair Products and patron tequila. Before building his fortune, DeJoria was homeless twice, living in his car. He could have viewed this as proof that success wasn't meant for him. Instead, he used those difficult experiences to fuel his determination and develop the resilience that would later help him build multiple billion-dollar brands. The self-made millionaire understands that every adversity contains within it the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit. Your job is to find that seed, nurture it, and help it grow. This perspective doesn't develop overnight. It requires conscious practice.
Start by changing your vocabulary. Eliminate words like problem, failure, and disaster from your thinking. Replace them with challenge, learning experience, and opportunity. This simple shift will transform how you perceive difficult situations and open your mind to creative solutions.
When facing adversity, pause and ask yourself these questions. What strengths am I developing by facing this challenge? How is this preparing me for greater success? How is this preparing me for greater success? What doors might this closed door open? The answers will guide you toward productive action rather than helpless reaction. Diamonds are formed under pressure. The most successful people have often endured the most difficult circumstances. They didn't succeed despite their challenges. They succeeded because of them. Their adversities forced them to develop the exact qualities needed for exceptional achievement. Self-made millionaires also understand that temporary defeat is not permanent failure. Thomas Edison's famous quote about finding 10,000 ways that won't work before discovering one that will perfectly captures this mindset. Each setback brings you one step closer to success if you extract the lesson it offers. Develop the habit of asking, what's the opportunity here? Whenever you face disappointment. Train yourself to look for the hidden advantage in every adversity. This perspective will distinguish you from the masses and accelerate your journey to financial independence. The good news is that this ability to transform adversity into advantage can be developed by anyone willing to practice it consistently. Begin today by identifying a current challenge in your life and listing 3 potential benefits or opportunities it presents. This simple exercise, practiced regularly, will gradually rewire your thinking and strengthen your resilience. Your ability to handle adversity will ultimately determine your altitude in life. Master this skill, and you'll possess one of the most powerful success secrets of every self-made millionaire. Lesson 16. The courage to begin where you are. A truth that will forever stand the test of time is that all great achievements, all profound fortunes, and all remarkable success stories began with one simple act. Someone had the courage to begin. Yes, the courage to start exactly where you are with what you have right now. I've studied the patterns of self-made millionaires for decades, and one quality appears without fail in each success story. These people didn't wait for perfect conditions. They didn't postpone their dreams until circumstances aligned just right. They simply started with whatever resources they had available. Consider this carefully. Every great oak tree began as a small acorn. The mightiest river starts as a humble spring bubbling from the earth. Similarly, great fortunes nearly always begin modestly. The critical difference is not in the size of the beginning, but in the decision to begin at all. Many people make the mistake of waiting. They wait for more education, more money, more connections, more confidence, or more of whatever they believe they lack. But self-made millionaires understand that waiting is the enemy of achievement. They grasp that conditions will never be perfect, and that imperfect action beats perfect inaction every single time. Look at your current situation. What resources do you have available right now? Perhaps you have a small amount of savings, a particular skill, some free time, a supportive friend, or simply an idea. Whatever you have, it is enough to begin. The millionaire mindset sees current resources not as limitations, but as foundations. When Henry Ford began building his first automobile, he didn't have massive factories. When Sam Walton opened his first store, he didn't have a retail empire. When Oprah Winfrey started her career, she didn't have a media network. What they had was the courage to begin where they were. This courage requires something special, the ability to focus on possibilities rather than limitations. While others see all the reasons why something can't be done, the self-made millionaire sees the one way it might work. This perspective shift alone can transform your financial destiny. Starting where you are means taking inventory of your current assets, your knowledge, skills, relationships, time, and whatever financial resources you possess, and leveraging them toward your goal. It means taking that first small step today rather than waiting for some imaginary tomorrow when everything will magically align. Action creates clarity. Many people wait until they have complete clarity before taking action, not realizing that clarity comes from action itself. As you begin and move forward, the path ahead becomes increasingly clear. The fog of uncertainty lifts with each step you take. Your beginning doesn't need to be grand or perfect. It simply needs to be. Small, consistent action today, repeated tomorrow and the next day, builds momentum that eventually becomes unstoppable. The millionaire understands that small beginnings, fueled by persistence, inevitably lead to great outcomes.
So ask yourself, what one small step can I take today toward my greatest goal? Then summon the courage to take that step, regardless of how modest it might seem. For in that moment of beginning, you separate yourself from the countless others who continue waiting for conditions that will never be perfect.
The courage to begin where you are might just be the most important millionaire secret of all. Lesson 17. The Prosperity Principle. Imagine, if you will, a concept so powerful, so fundamentally transformative that it could completely alter your financial destiny. This is the Prosperity Principle, and understanding it separates those who achieve enduring wealth from those who merely dream of it. The Prosperity Principle is actually quite simple, though most people never discover it. It states that prosperity flows not from what you get, but from what you consistently give of value to the world. Most people have this backward. They constantly ask, "What can I get?" rather than "What can I give?" Let me emphasize this point. Wealth is not pursued. It's attracted by the person you become and the service you render. When I was studying the habits of self-made millionaires across America, this principle emerged time and again in their stories. These weren't people who chased money directly. Rather, they became obsessed with creating something of extraordinary value. Consider the farmer who plants corn in spring. He doesn't pull on the stalks to make them grow faster. He doesn't demand the earth produce an immediate harvest. Instead, he creates the conditions for growth and trusts the process. He plants, waters, nurtures, and then, in due season, reaps abundantly what he has sown.
Your financial life follows the same natural law. When you focus all your energy on planting seeds of value, solving problems, improving lives, creating innovations, delivering excellence, the harvest of prosperity follows as naturally as summer follows spring. This explains why some people work incredibly hard yet struggle financially, while others seem to attract wealth with relative ease. The first group is trying to extract value. The second is focused on creating it. But this principle demands patience. Just as the farmer doesn't expect corn the day after planting, your prosperity may not manifest immediately. There's a season of growth required, a time when roots strengthen and stalks form before any visible harvest appears. I recall a conversation with a man who had built a $100 million business. When I asked about his success, he laughed and said, "For the first 5 years, I thought I'd made the biggest mistake of my life. I worked day and night solving problems for customers when no one else would. It seemed like I was giving away more than I was getting. Then suddenly, everything changed. The reputation we'd built created a tidal wave of opportunity." His story illustrates perfectly how the prosperity principle operates. He wasn't focused on extraction, but on contribution, and contribution of extraordinary measure. To apply this principle in your own life, begin asking better questions. How can I create 10 times more value than I'm currently creating? What problems can I solve that no one else is solving? How can I serve in ways that make me truly irreplaceable? When these questions drive your daily actions, you align yourself with the natural laws that govern prosperity. Like gravity, these laws work whether you believe in them or not. They're impartial and unchanging. The difference is simply whether you work with them or against them. The prosperity principle, once fully embraced, becomes more than a strategy. It becomes a way of life. And that is the true secret of self-made millionaires. They don't chase money. They chase excellence in service. And in doing so, they find that prosperity naturally follows. Lesson 18. The legacy you build beyond wealth. Growing wealth is only the beginning, not the conclusion of your journey. This truth reveals itself to those who have climbed the mountain of financial achievement and discovered that the view, while magnificent, leaves them asking, "What now?" The answer lies in understanding that the truly wealthy person is rich, not just in dollars, but in meaning. Consider this carefully. Money provides freedom and opportunity, but it cannot provide purpose. The self-made millionaire eventually faces the most profound question of all. What will I do with this abundance I've created? The wisest among them recognize that true wealth lies in the legacy they build, the lasting imprint they leave on the lives of others. A legacy isn't simply what you leave to someone. It's what you leave in someone. The millionaire mindset, at its highest evolution, extends beyond personal achievement to significance. This is where you move from success to significance, from accumulation to contribution, from making a living to making a difference. The secret I've observed among the most fulfilled wealthy people is this. They use their resources to solve problems that matter to them deeply. They find causes aligned with their values and apply the same determination that built their fortune to building a better world. Their money becomes a tool for transformation rather than merely a scorecard. Your legacy might take many forms. Perhaps you'll mentor young entrepreneurs, giving them the guidance you wished you'd had. You might establish scholarships that open doors for talented young people without means. You could fund research addressing problems you believe deserve attention. Some create foundations tackling issues close to their hearts, while others quietly support people in need without fanfare.
The self-made millionaire understands something profound. We are most alive when we are growing and giving. Once your financial needs are secure, the greatest joy comes not from gathering more, but from giving intelligently. This isn't about charity as an obligation, but about strategic philanthropy that multiplies your impact. Begin thinking about your legacy today, not as a distant concern for your final years. How will you use your growing resources to create meaning? What problems do you care deeply about solving? Where could your unique talents and experiences make the greatest difference? Remember, too, that financial wealth is just one dimension of true abundance. The millionaire who neglects relationships, health, or personal growth may be cash. Rich, but life. Poor. Your greatest legacy may be the example you set of a balanced, purposeful life, showing others that wealth can be a foundation for a life well lived, rather than a substitute for one.
As you continue applying the principles that build wealth, simultaneously build your legacy. Let your money become a megaphone for your values and a vehicle for your vision. In doing so, you'll discover what the wisest, successful people have always known. The joy of having is in the giving, and true wealth is measured, not by what you accumulate, but by what you accumulate, but by what you contribute. Your life will eventually be measured not by the fortune you amassed, but by the difference you made. Build both wisely, and you'll experience the deepest fulfillment that success can offer.